for WordHack. Make some noise with your hands and faces! Oh, yeah. Right after I told everyone in the front to go get a drink, and now we got to bring the energy up for the missing people in the front rows and welcome them back in. So, yeah, actually, we don't need to do that. That's bad audience management. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Todd Anderson. I'm your host here at WordHack. It's a real pleasure to be up here in front of y'all. It's great to see so many familiar and returning faces in the audience, and some new folks as well. If this is your first time here at WordHack, let me tell you a little bit about the show. WordHack is a monthly show here at Wonderville. We are now, how many of the, 11 and a half years running? Yeah, give it up for WordHack, officially in middle school. Hitting puberty soon. Exciting times over here. So WordHack's monthly show, and where we hang out and think about words and computers and circuits and code and all of the cognitive space that exists between those topics. And a lot of people come at that from different angles. We like to have this be a space where a writer who's interested in exploring how technology might augment their writing practice, or a programmer who's making different kinds of software that plays with words, or a researcher who's using some computational tools to analyze some of the history of how language has developed, or a game maker who's using words as part of a game they're making, and all sorts of people who approach this from different angles. We're trying to just be a low-stress place where those people can come, gather, talk about what they're thinking about, and meet each other, get inspired by each other, and just hang out, laugh, think, maybe have a beer and tip a bartender while we're here. Just want to give a quick shout out to my staff at the top of the show. So we've got Chantal at the door, Jason at the bar, and Rhodey in the booth. And, of course, we have to thank our wonderful hosts at Wonderville and the owners, Mark and Stephanie, who are big supporters of this show as well. Give it up for Mark and Stephanie. So how WordHack is structured, we have typically about 3 talks or performances. They're going to be 15 to 20 minutes long. Tonight we have featured presentations by Sam Lavigne, Annie Rauwerda, and Danny Snelson. Give it up for your featured presenters. And but to start off the show, I mentioned people come to this space from all sorts of different backgrounds. The way I came to it and what led me to start the show was that I started in poetry, and in particular I was doing spoken word slam poetry back in 2010, 2011, and if you haven't seen slam poetry, it's a cool thing where you give art a number, and we try and capture that spirit here, not of it giving art a number, but a thing I liked about being part of slam and spoken word poetry is you could kind of it was very open and democratic, and anyone could kind of come into the room and put their name down and join an open mic or a slam and present what they were doing, and then any random audience member could give it a score out of 10, and it was kind of cruel and barbaric, but also very open. There was no qualifications to be a judge, and you just had to try and appeal to the different people that were out there. And I really benefited as being someone, I'm from the Midwest, I'm from Chicago, and I moved to New York and didn't really know anyone and could show up at these spaces, put my name on a list, and come up and do my poem in front of people and just feel the silence inside of my body, and then kind of commiserate with people at the bar later. And that's how you get to know people in an artistic community. You try stuff out, and you fail sometimes, and you succeed every now and then, and you learn to understand what failing feels like and what success feels like, and the more you build up that sense of what success feels like, I feel like that's where art comes from. And we like to provide an opportunity for people to develop that here, because it's often hard to do with more technical works. A lot of times, especially when I started this show, it was not as standard as it is now for galleries to have a projector set up, and if they did, it was almost always run through a Mac Mini that was stapled to the ceiling. And this is a different kind of space. We love being at Wonderville. It enables a lot of different kinds of technical art. And we have this open projector here where you, the audience, can come up and share something on our stage and speakers and projector for 5 minutes. I do keep time, 5 minutes. I'll let you know when you're over. And share something with this group of people. So we've got Got 6 slots here on our open projector, and we are going to hop right into it. And this first person let me know that they have some time-specific requirements, and I think we are hitting those time-specific requirements. I think we are. So let's start off the open projector by giving a warm welcome to Garen. Is there a table mic stand nearby that I can grab, Rooney and Mark? I can set this up for now, but it might be nice to have one.
Let's do it. I need an adult. All right, that was just my demo video. That's my mom dressed up as a badass Harley. I figured it's close to Halloween. Yeah. She's married, guys. Come on. Okay. All right, let's do this. Hi, how's it going? I came here last month, and I was like, I come here every month practically, and I feel bad because I never have anything to show. So I decided I would start just making things to show. If you were here last week, I did the something funny but brief. That means there's a 50% chance you might get something that'll revolutionize human communication. But unfortunately, you are here for something personal but sad. So there is a content warning. We're going to talk about cancer and or death. So, if someone close to you has passed away, I've been there, and I just want to let you know, that's the subject matter mostly. First of all, I want you to imagine yourself in 1995, right? And you live in Southern California. And this is what more or less my school in Southern California did. There was the classroom, lots of seats, everyone paying attention to the teacher. And then in the back, they had computers connected to the internet. And during during recess, during lunch, whatever, I actually didn't even check if y'all can hear me, I assume. During recess, during lunch, while all the athletic kids were outside running around, some of the less athletic kids were, playing on the computer. And the things we did, we played Number Munchers, we had a LAN Doom 2 party, but the most important thing about these computers is that they were connected to the internet. And just as it was true then, and it's true now, you should not give a 5th grader unfettered access to the internet. I had a friend, Mike. I still have a friend, but it's not like we had a falling out. I just don't know where he is. And Mike knew where everything on the internet was. And I highly recommend everybody get a friend like Mike. And if you don't have a friend like Mike, maybe you are the Mike. But every day he would just, tap me on the shoulder and be like, check out what I found. Check out what I found. And they would be just the most, Mr. T fan sites to, I don't know, some other ridiculous thing. But the most ridiculous thing that Mike showed me was this thing called Agrippa. And Agrippa was written by William Gibson and a programmer. They teamed up, William Gibson of Neuromancer, Johnny Mnemonic, The Peripheral, Bridge Trilogy, all the books, all the things, all the cyberpunky things, that's the same William Gibson. And he wrote this book, and it cost $450 in 1992, which is about $1,000 in 2025. And this book was essentially a poem to his father who had passed away. So you'd buy this book, the inside is just filled with Gattaca, endlessly, and then at the very end, there's a floppy disk, right? Yeah, hell yeah, there is. Before I continue, a lot of the images and information about this project can be found on agrippa.english.ucsb.edu. For those of you who are not familiar with, I just realized I got the wrong joke, oh no. This is UCSB. I was going to show UCSC's mascot, which is a banana slug. Yeah, that's right, reading Plato. And this is not a joke. This is actually what this character does. But for the time being, we'll go back to the disk. There's a disk. You take the disk. You put the disk in your computer. And this is what happens. There's like an emulated version of this on YouTube. And I've like edited this video. I sped it up a little bit because this would be way, way too slow. But basically, Gibson wrote a poem about his father. It's mostly about finding this old photo album, and the photos have yellowed, and you can't quite make out who's in the photos, and the handwriting is all scribbled, and it was obviously of sentimental value to his father, but he couldn't communicate to him because his father had passed. And after you read this scrolling poem, the disk erases itself and encrypts itself, and you can never read the poem again. That's it. That's it. So I'm 11 when I see this, right? You get the context. Boop, boop, boop. So the craziest thing to me as an adult about this is that it took 20 years for somebody to be able to reverse engineer whatever the encryption was that was on this disk, right? Just some, $450 art project that Gibson himself didn't even want to do because he didn't feel like it was, I don't know what, but he didn't want to do it. But I don't know. I've thought about this project more times than I care to admit. And unfortunately, in 2013, my mother passed away. And it's not like Gibson's thing was the first thing I thought of, but I loved my mother, and I wanted to do something that would not only honor her, but make other people honor her. And it took a while, but the idea that I landed on some 10 years later was this site, nothingherebut.me. And it's a poem. Actually, this is part of a poem. You'll see two counters down here. One is counting up, and one is counting down. I think there's a bit of lag, but that's fine. Oh, maybe it's just for me. And the most maybe interesting thing you'll see about this is that you can't actually read what this text is saying, right? There's like a transparency between one and there's two basically strings of text that over the course of an hour, one gets more transparent and one gets more opaque. And so when I first did this, I thought, okay, you basically have to sit here for 24 hours to be able to read this entire thing. Or come, at the top of the hour, one of them is at 100% opaque and the other is at 0%, and then they kind of transition as time goes on. And originally my idea was like, okay, like that's it. Like you gotta show up once a day. Because the thing I didn't like about Gibson's thing is like you read it once and you're done. I wanted to force people to keep going over and over and over again to this website. But then I made it complicated. And if this next part, I'm good. I got you. Definitely 45 seconds. Basically, I made it kind of geolocate to where you live, so that if you split the Earth in a northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest corner, you end up getting a different branching version of the poem. So everybody in the morning is going to get the same poem, right? And then as time goes on, you get different lines. So you basically now have to show up, actually I didn't get to that part yet, but basically geographically you get different lines depending on where you live. Then I thought, okay, but then once everybody's just going to get the same version of the text, so then I mapped it to the phases of the moon, which means every month you have to show up to get every line to understand the complete picture of what this poem is actually doing. It kind of rotates, the same blocks of text rotate through all four corners of the world. This isn't online. I made like a little admin view to kind of show what this looks like. But basically, as time goes on, right, one word shows up and the other disappears. You can see, phase, current phase, and next is the one that's coming over. Time goes on. I can't even tell. Oh my goodness, it's so low. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. Boop, boop, boop. Right. Phase, 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 phase. And the idea being that if it's 5:56 in New York, if you go to Sao Paulo, this is what people in Sao Paulo would see right or at 5:56:49. This is what you'd see in Tokyo, right? Like everybody is getting a different version of this poem. show up every day for a month, and you'll find out just how much I loved my mother. That's it.
Thanks so much, Garen. Love playing with that culture of completionism. Feels like a visual novel a little bit. Just playing with all the different possible endings. Coming up next on the open projector, it's Zach. Give it up for Zach.
No. No need. It was HTML. Oh, okay. Just takes a second. All right, cool. Hi, I'm Zach. So I'm presenting a music library, like editor and like kind of player that I've kind of hacked together and like kind of also drove myself insane with. A couple years ago, I had switched off of Spotify. I was getting really frustrated at how they acted like, ooh, discover your end of year Spotify Wrapped. It's like, wow, thank you so much for giving me the information of like what I've listened to this year. You've known this the whole time, but you just won't let me see it until the end of the year. And so I got really frustrated by that. So then I kind of went full force going back to MP3s, put it in Apple Music just for like sanity for syncing with my phone. But switched to MP3s, was happy to then have a bit more kind of like metadata with everything. I was happy to then be able to finally sort by year, to then kind of have the fuller view of like date added, have a bit easier navigation. But I was unsatisfied, and I knew like now that I had everything in MP3s that like I could start extending it a bit further to my needs. So I was getting frustrated that over the years, your music library will only like grow and grow and grow, but there really haven't been like extra tools to like help you organize and make sense of that a bit. Like your only option is to be manually creating a lot of playlists, and you kind of have to like, I don't know. I found that like starting to get like limiting or starting to be just like kind of difficult to keep track of like what's where. I went kind of wild. I wanted to have my own custom columns, which is not something you can like do. I wanted to have a few like attributes like per song. Mainly I wanted to track like what songs have vocals or not, if there were songs that like I like to sing along to, what kind of the vibe is. Like I swear there's music I only listen to when it's raining, and like there's music that's very summer to me. There's winter and I kind of wanted to capture that beyond just like playlists. And so to do that, I knew I'd have to hack together something, and I looked at like other music library players. Basically, nothing really supports custom columns. The like libraries to deal with MP3s, like none of them really deal with like custom tag metadata. So I started devising a thing of just hacking together the comment field. And I kind of created my own little programmery syntax, so I knew that one day I could like start kind of like putting this somewhere else. I could like kind of parse it, put it in my own little columns. So I was just manually adding those for like a little bit, but then I built something finally to then I hacked together with AppleScript, a thing to go through my entire like music library, export all this data into CSV, also parse the kind of like weird comment syntax that I had. And so once I did that, then I could use an actual like data analytics tool to then like kind of be navigating my music library. So this is Visidata, which is very much meant for like hardcore like data analysis and like actual stuff, but I instead hacked it together to then serve my purposes as a music library organizer. I built a lot of like kind of I coded in like some like plugins, just like kind of extended the config a bit to build just extra things that I liked, like kind of navigating by artist to scroll. But there's like a lot of like, I don't know, fun things to me, like if you're familiar with them, then like a lot of just like keyboard-driven types of like searches are possible. You can easily sort each thing. You get your little table that says like when kind of years that your like music is coming from. Kind of just any column you build has like just a lot of like built-in functionality. Again, meant for a completely different use case than what I'm doing it for, but sometimes aligns to actually be helpful for me. And so once I did this, I started like having the kind of like columns that I wanted. And so like, okay, I was started tracking like, okay, here's music that has no vocals for when you're focusing. Here's when I just like don't want to listen to men. Here's for when just all the songs that I can sing along to, can further filter that by like if I again don't want to sing along to men. And yeah, I've kind of, once I started having this, I kind of went a little too wild, I would say. I started like wanting to, like having too many ideas of things to track. And when you have thousands of songs, like that's not really ever going to happen. I kind of just had to like settle for this always being like permanently incomplete, and just kind of remembering that this is like still better than me manually adding to a playlist, oh, this person's vocals are weird and I kind of like that, and I just like only want to hear like weird people who can't really sing who still make music. Like it's a strangely frequent mood for me. Let me see what else is fun. Yeah, can kind of go through all my favorite songs, see kind of who's, get a bit of the sense of like, yeah, what I like about it. But mainly I just can build a lot of kind of like smart playlists like a lot easier just from like tagging these things individually. But yeah, don't go too hard trying to like taxonomize art. Like that doesn't work. I knew that, and I still fell into that trap. The best you can do is like make it really like personal. So like don't treat it as a science. It's not. It's just like, I don't know. Use it for, pick the parts that are going to be helpful for you. Yeah, I don't know. That's it.
Thank you so much, Zach. Really cool to see a command line interface used that way. Also want to briefly shout out our online audience on twitch.tv/WondervilleNYC. What is up to Jetsam Live, Kit Buckley, and Ezraiah. And thanks for joining us. And yeah, if you can't make it in a future month, you can join us on stage, and I'll see you and maybe talk to you. Cool. Up next on the open projector, we have Alex. Give it up for Alex.
Hello, my name is Alex. I'm here to talk about receipts. Raise your hand if you have a receipt on your person right now. Okay. Like a couple people. So my talk is titled Escape POS. This is an Epson thermal receipt printer. I've been playing with this for the last few weeks. and I'd like to share some of my explorations with you. So here's a receipt I got the other day. So question for you, and feel free to just shout your answers to me. In terms of layout and typesetting, what are some features that you notice of the system that produced this document? Bold, yes. Monospace, yeah. Sorry. Centered, capital letters, yeah. Custom logo, yes, that's a super cool one. Yeah, centered. Yeah, so that's all true. And what is really striking to me about this, it has text? Yes. Yeah, it just looks really old. Like you could imagine seeing something like this in the 90s. But I promise you I got this the other day, like last week. So printing technology like this has been around for a long time. The receipt printer I've been using was manufactured 10 years ago, and it speaks a language that was invented 35 years ago. And I'm really not sure why this technology has been around for so long, so yeah, if you have insight on why this is, please come talk to me. But one thing I can tell you about this language is that it's really simple. All you have to do to get started is just plug in the printer to your computer and then send it ASCII bytes over a serial or USB connection, and it'll just print them really fast. It feels really instantaneous. So right away, we can do fun stuff like draw pictures with letters. If you send it some ASCII bytes that are not visible, then it might interpret that as something else. So it can interpret certain commands as change the formatting. So now we can make the text big and stretched. And turns out you can also send picture data. So this is a picture of a computer, but they have to be 1-bit images because it can only print black and white. And this is sort of a diagram of how you might format or transform an image so that the printer will understand it. So you just send it these bytes and you get this little guy at the bottom. Yeah, so if you can print images, you can also print text that is not natively supported on the printer. So here's some text that's not monospace, it's proportionally spaced. And here's a photograph that is not black and white, but I just dithered it so that it can be represented as black and white. Yeah, so these are just some examples of things I've been doing to sort of just start breaking some of the expectations we have around receipts that we see every day. Yeah, so shout outs to some people who helped me out with this project. Ezra, who's right here, and Frank also, and Mateo. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Alex, and love that format of rolling up with your own hype squad. I encourage future open projector presenters to roll deep and shout out during the show. That was really cool. Alrighty. Got 3 more presenters on this open projector. Up next we have Aaron. Give it up for Aaron. Oh, is that Aaron? Yeah. Oh my.
I do. What was that?
What port do you have for display?
HDMI. Maybe not. Let's see. And then sound, is that? Right there. Okay, great. From menu. Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Aaron. I co-organize Creative Coding NYC, and a few weeks ago, I attended a Wiki Game Jam, which was really awesome. Love Wikipedia, and I felt some synergy between like some of the talks tonight and what I did there. So I thought I would present my project. So this was at Heck's house, and we had Friday, but mostly Saturday and Sunday to make games. And I made a game with my partner Andy Gorman on this project. That was a rhythm game where you feed monsters by guessing which Wikipedia page has the most bytes. Which actually I didn't write that that summary, but that's perfect. As you can see, we won Best Terminal Game because we were the only terminal game. Yeah, I just really felt like I don't love coding with AI, but I've been using Claude Code and Codex a lot, and I felt like kind of inspired to make like a terminal UI kind of game. Also, we were talking about, what our favorite games were, and some of the games that I thought of were Katamari Damacy, where you kind of roll up a giant, you have a giant ball and you're kind of rolling things up and it's growing, as well as Rez, which is kind of like a cyberpunk shooter rhythm game, and I was thinking a lot about rhythm games, so let me demo the game for you. Give me a second. And yes, I am using Bun, sorry. We're gonna pull some random articles. The game is called Wikipedia. And, I need internet. Oh yeah. If we, okay. Yeah, otherwise we can't get articles. It's actually pulling, see, they're not fake articles. Wonderville Wi-Fi, right there. We play games. Okay. See, okay, all right. So now, start. And I think it's actually playing the audio over itself, unfortunately. So, let me try to kill terminal and see if that works, or, quit. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, live debugging. It worked. Actually, I need to open iTerm. Sorry. Just for the colors. And how much time do I have left?
Let's say like a minute and a half.
Okay, that's actually kind of perfect. So, oh yeah, it's folder in a folder. Now I'm just getting nervous. Okay, here we go. So I'm guessing these articles, and as I guess, there's a stomach meter that fills up. You can see. So I kind of envision there being like a little monster eating the largest, eating the largest articles, and you're trying to appease them. So scores going up, time's going down, trying to fill the stomach. We'll see if I can do it. I'm right now I'm kind of randomly guessing with the random articles. So, and yeah, take a little Wikipedia again, and we'll see if I can get to the end. A, S, D, F, G. So there's 5 options and they rotate. So it pulls in 500 articles right away and then goes from there. So, and game over. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much, Aaron. We love a live debug here at WordHack. And yeah, also shout out to the Wiki Game Jam. One of our past WordHack speakers, Elliot Etzkorn, was working on that. And I think Elliot is going to be back at WordHack next month. All right, coming up next on the Open Projector, let's give it up for Brandon.
Hi, everybody. While I get this set up, I just wanted to say, after the receipt printer project went and sat down, I heard someone come up to him and say, "Come join my receipt printer Discord." And I think that's like, it's like the greatest prototypical WordHack exchange I've ever heard. All right. Oh, good old-fashioned dongle at WordHack game. Do I have to extend and not mirror or something? Is that how that works? It's working. At least like my screen changes aspect ratios, so something's happening. Maybe I have to extend. God, it's the same amount of fun every time. Like, the game never gets old. We can try a different one. I don't know. We'll give it a shot.
My theory is that Max likes skinny dongles. PCs like fat dongles.
That seems right. All right, go. Oh, that's looking really good. Skinny dongles, man. Skinny dongles. Let me just make this size like appropriate. Cool. Hey, everyone. My name is Brandon. I've talked once or twice here before. You may know me as the guy that makes really big maps of the internet, but that's not what I'm going to show you tonight. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about a language model I trained to do historical linguistics. It's a little bit dense, and so if anyone has any questions at any point, they should just raise their hand, and I will try and answer. And so, yeah, oh, we got a question in the back already, yeah?
Sorry, do you mind scrolling up, actually?
Yeah?
I'm just looking at that logo, and it looks like it's customly kerned. Is that true?
That's actually correct. Yeah, it's a really topical question, and it dovetails very nicely with a public service announcement that I want to give about the text path SVG tag. Yeah, so by default, the kerning on this tag is not curvature aware, and people need to know this. This is the default behavior of the SVG text path tag, and you'll see that it's horrible. It's horrific. I know, I lived this. But we can fix it. And the way that we're going to fix it is making the kerning curvature aware. So what you have to do is compute the curvature at every point along this curve, which you do by getting the tangent to the baseline for every single character. And then you take the difference. And if you divide the kerning of every letter by that number times a constant, you get something that looks a little bit nicer. So like this is unkerned on the left, this is kerned on the right. Much better, right? Thank you. And so now we have this really beautiful logo. Oh no, wait a minute. This text is a closed loop. And so that's a problem. We have to actually fix that. We can fix it with inner word spacing, right? We can just like squeeze the words out a little bit to like make this gap between the C and reation go away. But it turns out if you move the text, you're actually moving the tangent vectors. And so suddenly your kerning's all fucked up again. And that was really, really frustrating. And so what I ended up having to do was write this iterative algorithm that would update the kerning based on the current tangent vectors, then update the inner word distances based on the final character, and then keep doing this in a loop. And eventually what you get is a kerning solver that looks something like this. So you can see it sort of like self-kerning. And those of you with very astute eyes will see that this part is not quite perfect. And instead of going back and updating the algorithm, I just added some controls down here. So that I could manually just go in and get this sort of just right. And I think these aren't quite the settings I used in the final logo, but it's much better. So anyway, I've now wasted my 5 minutes just bitching about kerning. But if anybody wants to actually talk about language models for historical linguistics, just come find me after. Thank you.
Wow, that was a clean 3 minutes. That was. Yes, we are very open to these sorts of theatrics here at WordHack. Love to see it. We love kerning here, and especially curvature-aware kerning. Alrighty, thanks so much for that, Brandon. And coming up to close out the open projector, give it up for Justin and Emily.
We can also share. Oh, thank you, thank you. Lit.
Where's the HDMI cable? Is it this one? It must be this one, right?
I'll put it back. Hold that spot.
The whole time. How does this work? What do we click? Entire screen?
Entire screen.
Do you have sound?
No, no sound. I think. No sound. Top to light. How does this work? Is it a dongle diff?
Oh.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi. Is anyone here familiar with the picture of Dorian Gray? Oh, that's a lot of people. For those who don't know, it's this novel about this guy, Dorian Gray, who's like very young and handsome, and he essentially like trades his soul to be like forever young and beautiful, but a painting of him gets drawn, and whenever he sins, like the painting gets uglier, but he stays young and beautiful. You can see like, oh, that is not centered. Yeah, like, you know, like he gets older and like uglier in this picture. It's sort of a metaphor for like hedonism and like moral corruption or whatever. Very fascinated by this premise, and I wanted like a real like picture of Dorian Gray, like of myself somehow. So we made that. We made like this flow that basically I can't even read it, but basically like it's based off our screen time, and the more that we brain rot, the more that this like image of us will like gradually get more and more deteriorated. Yeah, so basically we just have like, okay, yeah, this one's bad. That's me. That's a lot of brain rot. But we have like a base image of us, and over time it will get deteriorated. I was really inspired by this project called Stuck in the Scroll, where this guy, I mean, he's scrolling TikTok right now, and then it's either yes or no based on like this sort of like self-surveillance. That's a very concerning number. I don't know if you can see that. It says 1,727 hours of scrolling TikTok. And then this other project where they're just like constantly displaying their search history. I don't actually know if I believe that this is true, but you know, these are sort of some inspirations, and now we have like a brain rot tracker. Yeah.
You can. This is live, so you can go see all of our activity. You can see everything that we just used. So Justin was just messaging, and I was just on Twitter. And this is done using Nano Banana. We have these prompts that we wrote ourselves, and then we apply them like randomly, and like the model is also like stochastic, it's random. So every week it looks really different. This was like week 1. So every week we feed the beginning and the end image into another video model that computes like this gradual like degradation. That's interesting. You can see every week Justin's is worse than mine because his time is a lot higher. So he has 70 total hours and I have 14. So I'm kind of winning. But if you want to join this little competition of public self-surveillance we're doing, our friends are agreeing to be part of a gallery. So we're all going to have brain-rotted, degraded portraits of ourselves up soon. But yeah, go look at portraitofyou.space.
Yeah, just like.
Oh, I don't know if you have more.
No, I mean, just the last thing it was like, initially, like when we first started it, we were like, okay, we need to like up our brain rot time for like content.
Yeah.
But now, like, I don't know, like sometimes I check on it here and there, and then I see this image, and it's like kind of disturbing. Good. So I'm like, okay, now I need to actually stop. So it's been a pretty good deterrent. So yeah.
Alrighty, let's give it up for everyone who is on our open projector. Yeah, and we definitely, I love, I mean, Garen mentioned this at the top. A big part of why I do this is so that it can be a motivation to either finish something, start something, share something with a group of people. Not every project is like thrives as just like an anonymously submitted website to a forum or like a talk at a conference. A lot of projects are best suited to like showing a room full of people who want to like laugh or be amused for a little bit. And if that's the kind of thing you'd like to make, consider finishing up something, starting something, and getting on this list at a future WordHack. Would love to have you up here. But now we can move to our first featured presenter. We're going to start things off with Annie Rauwerda. Annie, best known perhaps for the Depths of Wikipedia Instagram account, but Annie is more broadly an information artist and advocate, someone who creates a lot of really fun, often comedic artworks. Ooh, sorry. My intro is over time. A lot of fun comedic artworks involving publicly available information, so Wikipedia, but also Internet Archive, and lots of other of these great resources out there. And I love the work she does and the attention she generates for these great public internet resources. Let's give a warm welcome to Annie Rauwerda.
Really like information artist. It reminds me of sandwich artist, like the Subway title. Okay, I am Annie. I recognize so many people, but maybe definitely not all of you. Raise your hand if you've been to something that I talked at, like a WordHack or a. Okay, that is like probably 25%. If there's anything repeated, just don't get mad. I had some crazy, like, soap opera style family drama this week. Secret family members revealed, and I can't say this is live stream. So I confess that there's a little bit of perhaps repetition, but anyway, I am Annie. This is me. I'm not connected at all. I'm just doing this for myself. That's okay. I'm having fun. Well, while I'm waiting, I can just talk about stuff. Okay, so I found this website it was a couple months ago. There was this ASCII artist in the 90s. She was a mom in Cleveland. She had 4 kids who were very little at home, and she was making ASCII art, and she would put her initials, her name was Joan something, and she would put her initials in the ASCII art, and it's so, like, it's very campy. Like, there was a ton of Y2K ASCII art. Anyway, if you ask, there have been certain cases where AI models will put her initials in the ASCII art because she's so... Anyway, I found her on Facebook, and I told her that, and she thought it was funny. Okay, anyway, that was just random. Okay. This is me. Another thing some people know me for, especially in Bushwick, is that I made a stew one time, that is me, and it got way too much media attention. And oh no, now I have to talk about another website that I found or something. Oh no, I have to think. Have you seen Justin, the Justin website from the 90s? The guy that like live blogged everything in his life, and he even like I feel like I shouldn't. He got an STD and he posted like pictures. It's very interesting. Okay, I have to. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I had a perpetual stew, and I'm inspired by everyone like showing their tabs. So I found the stew website. Here it is. I unfortunately forgot to renew the domain, so sorry. Oh no. It's really hard when you can't see your own cursor. Sorry, Todd, I'm being a very bad... I feel like I need someone else to come do this. I don't think I have very many secrets here, so... This is my first time using a computer. Does anyone have any favorite Wikipedia articles while I try to figure out how to use this new device that I've just got? Wait, what are your favorite Wikipedia? Spite House? Do you guys know? It's when you like build a really big, tall house just to like block your neighbor's view or whatever. Or sometimes people will refuse to sell out like a tiny patch of land and like build a whole house there just because they're mad. Can I actually have someone else like touch my computer? I don't even know how to do that. I don't know what's going on. I want to go to this browser window. Is this a trap? No, I just am not like I'm failing in a way that is, I don't know. You're doing great. What other Wikipedia articles do you like? Biological sexism? What have you learned there?
Apparently, like people only planted male trees because it didn't have fruits.
Wow. Wait, and then ginkgo trees, like when they accidentally plant a female, those are the ones that smell like cum, right? Yeah, females. Am I right? I'm so glad it's not just me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're amazing at the computer. What other Wikipedia articles do you like? People that were born on a day. Wait, on like April 3rd or something? Yeah. Like you can wow. Born, who died, what significant event. Do you have any on your birthday?
Yes. So May 9th, Billy Joel.
Oh, your birthday twins? I guess he didn't die, so he definitely was born there.
One and the same. Yes.
Wow, it's like I'm talking to Billy Joel. Wait, okay. Tell me more Wikipedia articles. This is like the one thing I'm good at talking about. Nope, do just anything. You could say like sexually active popes. You could say OnFim that's on my computer. And you might be wondering, that's not the Wikipedia logo. Well, it could have been because there was a public submissions for the logo, and a kindergarten teacher in London named Teresa. She submitted this, and it's a worm with glasses, and it's made out of like encyclopedias, but it says Wikipedia. Anyway, I love the wiki worm thing. And somebody 3D printed one for me. And anyway, so I customized Wikipedia so that I have it all the time because I like to live in a different reality.
So the mouse is always clicking like 400 pixels pixels to the left.
I don't even know what I might have done something weird on this computer. I don't know. If you're seeing anything embarrassing, just like, I don't know, ignore it, I guess.
It's this dongle. All right. What? Oh, great. Hold on. No. I'm sorry. Should I try a different dongle?
It might. I could just talk too. I could go on my. But I'm not as fun when I'm just talking. Well, I'm just. Thanks. Everyone is so nice. Oh, so it's Wikipedia has conferences. The big one is Wikimania, and they're very fun. Like, people come, and it's more of a party vibe than you might expect, I would say. But it's not really a party vibe, but it feels like a fan conference, and there's a lot of drinking. There's WikiConference North America, that's every year, and that one's really fun for English Wikipedia because the big dogs, like the arbitration committee, which is like the Supreme Court of Wikipedia, which there's a federal investigation trying to dox them right now. Anyway, but they're gonna be there, and it happens to be in New York this weekend. So I'm leaving early, which I feel bad about because I love to hang out at WordHack really late and just talk to people, but I'm gonna go straight to the Wiki conference. Also, the Wiki Game Jam, I couldn't go, I was out of town, but I think there's another event, it's probably part of the conference. Anyway, I'm excited.
I ruined it.
You ruined it? You didn't. No.
Mac. I'm sorry.
This is a different presentation, but we can. Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Boom.
That's where the tabs are.
We're in. We've hacked the mainframe.
Not on the screen. This is so bad. All right.
I'm having fun. I could filibuster. I could do the Cory Booker filibuster, but I would have a little bit more.
I've got 7 more dongles to try. Keep stalling.
Oh, I could go all day. Wait, tell me more Wikipedia articles that are interesting. What do you say? I don't know what that is. Anglespur?
Yes, it's a city in Luxembourg. obviously.
And why did the botnet choose that, just randomly?
I don't know, but the reason we know it was a botnet is because of a Wikipedia research report. And the best part of the whole page is after that citation, it goes questionable source.
Yeah, Wikipedia can't cite itself.
But it's Wikipedia research, right? It's a different format.
I guess it is. You're right, that is very funny.
Okay, I think you are online.
Okay, yay. Wow, that was so fun. We could. Okay, so this is me. So the Internet Archive is about to celebrate its trillionth webpage saved, which is very exciting because I use that thing every day 1 billion times. Do you guys remember when Gmail was like this? Because this wasn't Google. Look at email with Catitude. This was when it was on the Garfield website, and when Garfield let you make your own email, and then Google came around. Anyway, WikiFeet had a gift shop. There's just important things to remember. Bernie Madoff's website, really amazing. Look at that. Really interested in maintaining an unblemished record of value, failed fair dealing. Didn't work out so well, Bernie. Why use Google? Integrity. Unlike other search engines, Google is structured so no one can purchase a higher page rank or commercially alter results. Thank God it never changed. Also, there were so many products that were marketed with, this product is Y2K compliant, which is exactly what I'm looking for when I buy a cord-free can opener. I really like just random brand partnerships. Okay, what else? There were a few tabs I had open that I wanted to share. eBay did a homelessness. They were doing a fundraiser for homelessness where they sold only 250 of this specific Y2K themed Beanie Baby. No one's talking about it, but I am. This is kind of, people talk about this, the bodybuilding forum, where they had a really long argument about how many days are in a week. Because, like, is it safe to do it every other day? Is that 7 days? Is that 8 days? That makes no sense. Like, anyway. It might have been a troll. I can't really tell. And then another thing on the Internet Archive that I'm really into is, you're really seeing that I don't know how to use a computer. There was a time when if you just like happened to be in the right place at the right time, you could get your own name as the domain. And so like Lisa.com used to be a girl. Hi, my name is Lisa. I am 11 years old. And she has pictures of butterflies and Disney news. Lizzie.com. Anyway, I am a big fan of all of this. But anyway, because of the soap opera style family drama this week, I was like, I'm gonna also talk about Wikipedia a little bit because that's kind of what I do more. So I'm a big fan of Wikipedia. The fart train is leaving the station. Wikipedia has everything you could ever want. It's got the most pornographic pepper. By the way, this heading is no longer there. It's not really encyclopedic, but I would say personally it's the most pornographic pepper I've seen. We got, do you guys know Hot Wheels Sisyphus, the Chinese ground spider? There's screaming in music, screaming in general. What more could you need? Killing was widely liked and respected. Really helpful to know what article that's from. William Helm Carlem Joseph Killing. You got relative dating, not to be confused with incest. We got DEI, lots of opinions about that, huh? Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. USSI is an article that people send, I get texts or DMs about this article probably once a week. People are like, have you seen this? Oh, I've seen it. I think Wikipedia is fun because it's all made by people, and it's very, it's extremely human in a way that no stock photography is. You can't really see it, but there's poop in the background of this article, which is in this photo, which is in the fan article. Poop. I was wondering what the deal was, and the person that uploaded it was aware. Vienna bread has radial motion blur for some reason. Don't know why, but I love it. All bread should be photographed like this, in my opinion. This is an amazing photo on Wikipedia. I've emailed the person that uploaded this so many times, no reply, but I think I know who he is. I'm not gonna dox. Anyway, I don't know the deal with this Virginia opossum or why it's in a piano or why it has this Mona Lisa smile, but I love it. This guy is in the Shrug article. He's been the photo of Shrug since 2005 or 6, and I did get in contact with him. He came to an event I did, and there was a line down the block in Boston of people that wanted to take a photo shrugging next to the Shrug guy. So, goofing off okay, I thought it was funny. It's very appropriate that it is not up to quality standards. But the guy in goofing off, guess what? I goofed off with him one time. Not to brag. And then this is the best one. The high five photos have been kind of, I would say, iconic, kind of overused, but I would say this truly is iconic. The up high, down low, victim misses, and then too slow with finger guns. Finger guns is hyperlinked. I think these photos are amazing. Reddit loves them. And a couple years ago on Valentine's Day, or right before Valentine's Day, I tracked them down. It was kind of, I went all over Reddit and I found them, and it turns out when these photos were taken, they weren't together, but they were kind of in an it's complicated situation because he was about to go to grad school in Europe. Then he came back, he was like, Tamara, I love you, and they got married and had kids. And they're still high-fiving. High five to that. Anyway, Wikipedians do all sorts of things. There's somebody in Japan that makes paleo art of extinct arthropods. There is a person, anonymous, who takes extremely blurry photos of mathematical knots, or he makes pretzels of them and then takes extremely blurry photos and uploads them to the relevant articles. There's a guy who takes photos of his eyes after doing various drugs. I hope he's doing awesome. I hope he's trying a new one right now. There's a person right now, if you look at the main page, the Did You Know section, you'll see random things show up a lot. Like Alexander McQueen runway shows show up like a ton, and people ask if it's sponsored. It's never, ever sponsored. It's always just that one random person is really into that thing at the time. So the Alexander McQueen person is... she's really great. She's a 911 operator in British Columbia somewhere. And she's really into documenting fashion because fashion history is one of the topics that's not very well represented. Anyway, another thing that's been on the main page a lot is chocolate content, just like random chocolatiers. And it's because there's a guy who is really active in Donald Trump related talk pages, which is very intense. But then on the side, he just like makes very high quality chocolate articles. So these are his top edited articles, which I think is funny. It's like Shot and Chaser. There's a lady named Jean who she's all over fashion in the 1980s, fashion in the 1970s, and maybe the 90s. But it's really I was kind of touched to see where she changed from girl to young woman. She's all over here. Like, anyway, there's Claudia, who is a college student in New York right now, and she writes a bunch of articles about people that are also named Claudia. There is the guy who's kind of renowned for fixing comprised of, which most people would consider grammatical, but he doesn't think it is, and he's written an article. He's written an explanation, a big long essay about why he thinks that alternatives are better, like made up of, divided into, composed of, etc. And that explanation is longer than the Constitution. But anyway, he's fixed comprised of 100,000 times. He lives in Seattle. He's an engineer for Microsoft the last time I checked. I'm just kind of going to skip through some of these people. Some arguments are trivial, I would say, but not to other people. Like whether yogurt should have an H, that was 7 years and a novel. Maize versus corn. The Wolf Talk page, this is kind of recent, but I thought it was funny. So this became a featured article, which is like the top quality. Also, Todd just cut me off one the time. Just tell me, and I'm gonna, because I have more slides than I'm. Sorry. Okay, so someone was like, should we mention this one random wolf that was hungry as fuck one time? He ate 181 grasshoppers. Like, should we mention this? And people were like, no. Like in the first paragraph, everyone was like, no, this is like kind of random, dude. Like we already mentioned that they eat grasshoppers. One or two people were like, sure, maybe, but pretty much people were like, no. And then my favorite person, who I don't really know very much about this person, but I do know that they passed the bar in Arizona. They said, regarding the source, it says basically they got this 181 grasshoppers number because like of what was present in like the poop or whatever. Basically what happened, I don't think that this supports the single sitting wording. While I understand that single sitting is an English turn of phrase and a fun one, if an evocative one at that, I rather doubt that the wolf ate them in a single sitting because wolves don't sit to eat. There was a really big argument. Should there be a dedicated info box for Fuse? This came up last summer because they were using the war and battles info box. So it says parties and like, anyway. Then the argument took so long that people, as a joke, made an info box specifically about this. This is very inside baseball right now, but okay. So Long Cat. There is a cat called Long Cat. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. Just the name Longcat gives you all you need to know. This was an internet thing in like 2005. In 2005, it says on the screen. The info box says known for being long. It used to say that. Then somebody changed it to known for subject of an internet meme, and said on the talk page, the cat is not known for being long. This is like very abbreviated. I've just selected some quotes. There's no certainty the cat was even long. Its body looked long. Long cat may be long. I did not say it's not long. I did say it's known for being the subject of an internet meme where it's portrayed as long. That does not equal being known for being long. The request for comment, is long cat long? Did the cat receive any award for recognition for being long? Did they break any records? And then JPXG, seeing as you and I have been having this exact same discussion for over a year, I abbreviated a lot, you guys. I'm not hopeful on the odds of us reaching an agreement here. This cat was unusually long. Every source agrees on this. I think the amount of evidence you're demanding for this claim is unreasonable. It does not need to have been the world's longest cat. There's not an international cat length committee to determine this. Anyway, the result, it's known for both being long and being the subject of an internet meme. Well, don't cheer for the vandal. Is it time? Okay. This is actually perfect. Wikipedia has vandalism. It's really fun. You can track like what 14-year-old boys are saying, the slang, by what the filters are updated with. Like, anyway, yeah, 6'7" is a bad one right now. But right now there's a bunch of text to catch vandalism. And most of it gets removed very quickly, either by humans or by bots. But back in the day, in like 2005, there was nothing. And so Jarrita Wens was in books as an Australian Aboriginal god, and then it took like a decade for people to realize it doesn't exist at all. This was just an Australian teenager named Jared Owens who wanted to be a god. It was the longest lasting hoax at the time. There have been many more. The Pringles guy is named Julius because of a Wikipedia hoax. Willie on Wheels in 2006 changed as many titles as he could to just say on wheels. He was one of the worst vandals Wikipedia has ever had. What else? Okay, okay, in conclusion, money comes and goes, as you can see. What it says is $9 billion loss. It was early life career $9 billion loss. Your job won't always be your favorite necessarily. Jane Goodall, whose research on chimpanzees spans more than 60 years, has stated that dogs are her favorite animal. But you can always contribute to free, open knowledge. The world is comprised of people that are very dedicated and who do stuff for free. Lots of people care. Most of them are good, I think. Yay. The end.
Thank you so much, Annie, for that athletic WordHack presentation and really rising to the challenge of our AV setup up here. Thank you so much, Annie, for joining us. Oh, do you leave a thing? Thanks for doing this on top of the Wiki convention. Shouts out and hey to any Wiki folks that are watching. WordHack is a good place for you to hang out if you want to come by in the future. All right, we have arrived at our famous mid-show break. We're going to take a break here and come back in 13 minutes. We have 2 more presentations. We're going to be hearing from Danny Snelson and Sam Lavigne, so don't go far. But you are allowed to go get a drink and tip our bartender, Jason, generously. See you in 13 minutes. start the second set. And so this is really more the preamble to the second set, where kind of people are still ordering drinks at the bar. You got to leave some time to really this side of the room has been devastated tonight. Like there's a lot of potentially open. I don't think anyone came back for these 2 seats in the front, especially also if there's anyone in the back that is feeling courageous. But yeah, some available chairs, and maybe some people trying to get drinks at the bar. Who here is at their first WordHack tonight? Just want to check in. Hey, wow, cool. Hey, welcome. That's cool to see some folks coming out. Welcome. Glad you're here. I've got 2 more presentations this evening, and hopefully an evening full of hanging out and playing games here at Wonderville. All right, this is I'm gonna give about 45 more seconds, and then I'm gonna start introducing the next presenter. Oh, what's up? The seats have been filled. Yeah, love to see it. Great. Oh man, love to see some friends here in the audience as well. Shout out to Rhodey and Mark up in the booth. Yeah, big shout out to those 2. Always blessed by our technical angels upstairs. Yeah, well, oh, cool. Yeah, so I hope your phone's okay. All right, here it comes. You can't stop me. There's more WordHack. I can hold it back no longer. Here we go. Starting off the second set. Wow, I'm so excited to be joined by Danny Snelson. I said his first name twice, but it's really just Danny, not Danny. Really excited that Danny is here. Danny is a writer and educator, someone who experiments with a lot of different forms that poems can take, a lot of different computational forms. I have a book on my coffee table called Elden Poem by Danny Snelson, which is some nice Elden Ring text poems, and that I initially met him at a previous WordHack, and excited to bring him back for a featured slot. He's the author of a new book, which it's available, right? People can buy it. Yeah, new book, The Little Database. Here it is. It is cool. It is colorful. He'll be telling you more about it, so I don't need to spoil it. He's gonna have a lot of other cool stuff to show you too. Give it up for Danny Snelson.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I have less comedy, but I hope that's okay. I wanted to offer a kind of tool. The last time I was here, it was actually for Everest Pipkin, the great Everest Pipkin, who gave a tutorial on how to handwrite your own RSS feed, which I was really inspired by and delighted about. And so I was thinking about how I could offer something that's like a tool, but in this case, it's a tool for you to use that's a book that's really built, I think, for the WordHack community. I'm going to start with the audio epigraph.
With your feet on the air, your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah. Your head will collapse, but there's nothing in it, and you'll ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
It feels like my mind is in these bags. But there's a kind of mood or an affect or maybe a feeling I wanted to start off with. And I think that it's expressed quite beautifully by an AI-rendered, undead Frank Sinatra singing a Pixies song about an absent mind. This eerie absent. Mark Fisher famously writes about the eerie as opposed to the weird as being a space where something you expect to be there is not there. And so one of the moods I've been chasing is the idea of eerie spaces of the network, how to see the eeriness of our post-capitalist ruins we're living in. And I see this in network imaginaries, like hallucinated VR spaces. Is there a way to bring down the stage lights a little bit? You might recognize this diagram from Baldur's Gate 3. This is an empty brain This is a brain that you would fill up with tadpoles that would insert themselves and connect you to a hive mind. I think there's something eerie about a brain awaiting some tadpoles. There's something eerie about the supernatural Federal Bureau of Control in the video game Control, a game where you ostensibly fight these supernatural federal agents, but really I think the whole game is about finding these redacted documents, these like eerie remnants of a structure that once used to make sense, but now features these, oh wait, I think I have a fancy thing. Yeah, here it is. It has these floating characters who are reciting a Dadaist poem called The Hiss over and over. It's a feeling I get, I think, most potently in the video game Death Stranding, this kind of haunted post-apocalyptic landmass that used to be the United States, now called the United Cities of America, where you're running around the environment trying to connect people to a quantum internet. It's called the chiral network. And on this quantum network, there's so much data available that you can actually print things like vehicles and streets into the space. Or, and I think this is where I get this feeling the most, I did spend a whole year writing poems in the video game Elden Ring. You're supposed to fight people there, but I had so much more fun just like leaving weird cryptic poems for people to find. No one liked them in the game. I mean, like these messages are like, they're meant for like teenagers to like troll people, so telling them how to like find an award, but really just like forces them to jump off a cliff. But I think like the game's landscape, even though it's built for like fighting and violence, is profoundly beautiful and eerie. So I've been thinking a lot about eerie networks, which is why I built this. I made like a poor man's projection map for my presentation. It's like a cathedral you can't see quite well. But the idea that to try to inhabit this specific space, which I love so much, as a way to maybe surface something like an eerie set of data servers humming in the background. I'll get back to that at the end, but what I wanted to talk about is this book, The Little Database, A Poetics of Media Formats, which really is offered, I think, to the WordHack community, which I've been such a tremendous fan of since the Baby Castle days, and just could not be more happy to be on stage talking about my own work. I'm an academic. I work at UCLA. I'm a professor of English and Design Media Arts. I work in the Digital Humanities program with the UCLA Game Lab. Some of the games here made out of that program. And I also work for the Laboratory for Environmental Narrative Strategies. So all these things together, I think, anchor what the book is trying to do, which is to try to offer a set of strategies for folks like you doing like crazy experiments. I was thinking about Garen's amazing approach to Agrippa, which famously is it self-destructs. But what I'm most fascinated by, Garen, is like the video that you played. This like video that shouldn't exist, right? Like that poem, you're only supposed to experience it on a hard disk drive that will delete itself. But we have a video, and that video is like meaningful to you. It's meaningful to me, and so the whole project. I grew up in rural Utah, and so like I couldn't go to like Anthology Film Archives, but I'd see Brackage on YouTube, and Brackage on YouTube is profoundly fucked up. I don't know if you've ever done that, but like YouTube is like good at like movement over time, and is really bad at like quick flashes, and so just like glitch everything out. But watching Brackage on YouTube was meaningful to me, and so this whole book is like, how do you take those digital experiences, Agrippa recorded in their own right as serious digital objects that have meaningful stories to tell us in their digital formatting. I had notes on Alex's thermal transfer, which is really was anchored around the invention of the PDF. So the reason why we still have the old technology for dot matrix thermal printers, receipt printers, is there was a big debate, and actually I have an epigraph about that. I'll return to Alex and Brandon's kerning in just a moment. But really, I guess I'm here, like, it's weird to talk about a project that you've published, because I spent like 20 years working on this book. Like, it goes back to like 2004 when I started scanning old magazines for an online collection, and now that it's published, it's like kind of the last thing I want to talk about. But I have to talk about it, and I'm like excited to share it with you, and even just being here tonight reminded me of some of the reasons why I guess the project is important. You can find it online. I forced the university to pay a lot of money to make an open access version. So it's free and open access. I have like a QR code. Oh yeah, here's you can read online. It's here. Oh wait, what happened? I'm not going to go to that link. But you can read it online. It's freely available. And I'll leave this QR code. I think it goes up here. Oh, it's so distorted. That won't work at all. But you can find it pretty easily by searching for the little database. I thought, okay, if Frank Sinatra as an AI voice haunting an undead version of a Pixies song is an epigraph, I wanted to have a second epigraph, which is this PDF-scented candle, something my student made a long time ago. And I was like, fuck, that's so good. Like, what does a PDF smell like? I got so fascinated by like the idea that my student just made this, and it's a scentless candle, of course. But like I was like, oh, well, maybe the PDF smells like a Bezier curve. The Bezier curve, of course, is invented by John Warnock, this guy. He's also from Utah, and was an early kind of founder of the like Xerox Genius Set, founder of Adobe Systems, who came up with this great idea that like, speaking of kerning, that instead of representing letter forms in like pixel-based, like it used to be like every font, like 12-point font or 14-point font, somebody would have to go through and map every single pixel for every letter. That's what makes the thermal receipt work. But Warnock's one thing was that like you could express letter forms with these curves, and that these curves could then let you stretch. Like every Adobe system is really just a set of Bezier curves. So I went down this rabbit hole and spent a long time writing a book called Bezier Curve Annotated Portable Document Format and PDF-Scented Candle that just kind of tracks like this guy, John Warnock, the development of the PDF, how it connects to his collecting practices. He's also the world's biggest collector of Shakespeare. So he has this amazing website called the Rare Book Room that's still operant online, but akin to maybe like the depths of Wikipedia, was built at an earlier point of the internet, but still persists in Web 2.0's shadow. Okay, so from PDFs and Frank Sinatra to this project. The book is kind of like standard. I'm just going to walk you through. I like being at WordHack, so I don't have to like give a proper academic. I have like 20 pages of writing, but I'm not going to read any of it at you. I think it's more fun to do it karaoke style, even though I might have some stops and glitches. The book is structured. It's got 4 chapters and a coda. It looks at 4 collections that are organized around 4 file formats. So the first section's on text.com. Does anyone know text.com? It's amazing. It's like the first pirate website, like turn of the millennium, founded by Sebastian Lutkertz, plain text files of like cyberpunk, like Kathy Acker and Douglas Adams, like the kind of stuff that like if you're wearing a trench coat in like 1999, like you'd be really into text.com. So I spent a whole chapter looking at plain text files, what they can do, and how to take, again, those file formats seriously, that, you know, Kathy Acker in a plain text file can do things maybe that the print-based versions can't do. I have a second chapter on a website called Eclipse, which I work for. I co-edit. It's an amazing resource of radical small press poetry and experimental writing from the last 40 years or so. We scan in books in like GIFs and JPEGs. Early on, it was like hard to like have high resolution images at the early internet. This is founded in 2004. And so actually we use GIF as a archival standard, which I got really fascinated by. So I have a chapter on the GIF format. And then a website called PenSound, which maybe is a bit more popular. I edit at PenSound. Yay! It's the world's biggest collection of recorded poetry. So I spent a long time just listening to poetry recordings to learn how to read poetry, but also, you know, how not to, mostly. And the PenSound collection has like 5,000 or 50,000-ish MP3 files, which is, at once, all these collections are like way too big to read at once. Like you can't like understand 5,000 files, but they're completely ordinary, right? Like we all have these collections of like 10,000 photographs, or I have like a to-read folder on my desktop that has 500 PDFs in it. Like it's mostly like aspirational, but you know, like I wanted to think, how can we read these collections that are small and idiosyncratic and that fundamentally resist data analytics? Even though I'm like kind of positioned, yes, in the kind of digital humanities, most of my work fights against the analytical trends in those fields. And there's a 4th chapter on a website that most of you probably know called UbuWeb, which I worked at for a number of years, editing this kind of sprawling repository for the avant-garde from sound, text, and video. But mostly here I was looking at the video format, and Flash video, RIP, when it used to be the way that we would watch things. Okay, I'm not going to belabor all that stuff. There's an epilogue on the EPC, which is this amazingly broken website. It's so fundamentally broken. It used to exist on the University of Buffalo servers, but they moved it. For a brief moment, actually, this is interesting. The EPC was the biggest website on the internet. That like right when HTTP protocol went live, a poetry dork, like one of us in this room, uploaded a massive amount of like poetry he'd collected, and so for about like a split second, it was bigger than the CIA's database. It was the last time that poetry was the center of the internet. But now, like if you search for EPC in Google, it's the 44th hit. Like it doesn't even have like the top search result for its own name. And this is mostly because the servers got moved from Buffalo to Penn. And there's a whole long story here, which I won't belabor. I do it in the book, and I spend 200 pages doing it. So you don't need to get that story now. But a lot of what the book is trying to do is to surface these narratives. That there's interesting stories to the ways in which we preserve our cultural memory and the way that we remember our digital objects, which again persist even in their obsolescence. Okay, so why is it called the little database? On one hand, I wanted to work against big data, so against the quantitative, but also now against these like forms of like massive computation. Like big data feels really quaint now, but it's like a word that I guess we used to use a decade ago. Large language models actually kind of work better as like a counterpoint to the little. The other side of the little is I'm thinking about the little magazine, which anyone who works in the historical avant-gardes or modernism can tell you that these little magazines that were both the vehicle and the defining feature of the development of most avant-garde movements were actually quite large. Like the Little Review has hundreds of issues, thousands of pages. There's things like advertisements in it. There's pictures, there's poems, there's essays. There are these really, really like heterogeneous, weird data sets that we just can't analyze. And so I was thinking, oh, well, the little magazine and what periodical scholars do with the little magazine might be helpful for us to think about what we do like on these devices that we all carry around. Like these things like little magazines are too big to understand and too idiosyncratic to analyze. So that's like the central problem of the book that I try to solve. And my approach to it is this idea of contingent reading, that the idea that you can really only make meaning at a specific moment in time, with a specific encounter or experience with a cultural object. I wrote about this in an article called Contingent Reading, Poetics of the Search, which looks at Death Stranding, which is like one long fetch quest. Have people played this game? Death Stranding, you know this game. Everybody knows this game. It's good, right? I'm still connecting Australia in DS2. But I was like, okay, so the fetch quest, this is like a video game trope where you have to go find something in some remote location, is exactly, like it structurally precisely maps onto what you do every time you search on Google. Like every Google search is a kind of fetch quest. And so I was thinking about what are the like operations and what does it feel like to search for something? Okay, the book, so on one hand, and here, these are all tools I'm trying to offer for people to use. If contingent reading is a way to think about specific moments of encounter, a lot of what the book tries to think about is variable formats. That the things that we think of as like relatively stable, like when I say a brackage film, we all like project our minds into like some like proto-history in the 60s when people used to film things on 16 millimeter. It just like doesn't exist. I mean, in very rarefied contexts it exists, but actually these cultural objects, and here like you can think about vinyl versus an MP3, that they exist in different formats. But those formats are never like a one-to-one thing. So we think about digitization as like taking an analog thing and then like making it digital, but it's always gone back and forth. And so I'm really interested in the way that the digital comes back to reflect on our experience of the analog. That when I see a brackage film in celluloid now, it's transformed by all of my experiences of the digital media that surround it. But I'm also thinking about variable formats of scholarship. I really hate most scholarship. I've taught at UCLA for 8 years, and I'm very proud of never having assigned a single essay. Luca can affirm this. One of my students is here. Hooray, Luca, and now a great scholar of and protector of the Internet Archive at Stanford. So we think about like academics like take papers and then they write about media. But I've been really interested in this book of like trying to find ways to think about how media experiments and experimental writing can do scholarship. So in a lot of ways, I think that the kind of work that's presented tonight, like I think Garen's doing like scholarship about Agrippa in ways that I think are really fascinating. I think Brandon's work on kerning is like a really interesting way to think about typography. Like you could write a long essay about kerning and like the challenges, but presenting it in a kind of playful format reveals things that an academic essay just wouldn't do. And this is why I'm thinking about poetics. So I come out of a poetics background, working with people like Charles Bernstein at the University of Pennsylvania, a kind of experimental media practice that calls poetics the extension of scholarship by other means. So the idea that a poem or like a media object, a media experiment, can do scholarship, can build knowledge. That might be a basic point for us here, but I think it's useful to advocate for. So the kind of objects I look at, I always turn to this poem by William Carlos Williams called The Defective Record. This is a great one, and you're missing the punchline at the bottom. Actually, I think I have a recording of him.
The defective record. Cut the bank for the fill. Dump sand pumped out of the river into the old swale, killing whatever was there before, including even the muskrats. Who did it? There's the guy, him in the blue shirt and turquoise skull cap. Level it down for him to build a house on, 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 to...
Oh my God. One, I just love Williams's voice, and it's nice to summon him into a room. But you can see at the end, so he repeats this phrase, to build a house on, to build a house on, to build a house on. He recorded this in 1942 for the Library of Congress on a 78 RPM record. And so listeners with a gramophone, able to play 78 RPM records, might jump out of their seats and say, like my record's skipping, right? Like I'm not getting the rest of Williams's poem. But MP3s don't glitch in the same way. Like glitches, like when an MP3 breaks down, it doesn't loop. It makes it has like a kind of crunchy sound. It's built on segmented data and so on and so forth. You all know what a glitchy MP3 sounds like. And so I wanted to think well, if the material metaphor, Williams famously said, there's no ideas but in things. It's like, what happens to the ideas when the things change? And like that moment of dislocation, like listening to Williams reading this poem as an MP3 file on the Pen Sound collection, which is the only way I've ever encountered it, is meaningful. And it reveals the slippages and the differences between those media formats. Yeah, so you can see, so this is what, the defective record looks like here, like a spectrogram. I spend a lot of my time editing these things to see the sound breaks, and you can see where it kind of repeats there at the end. That we have whole new ways of both visualizing, working with, and manipulating these kinds of cultural data, and that popular forms of remix, taking things like MP3s and turning them into here's our Williams page. I highly recommend. It's a good page. I spent a lot of time listening to The Good Doctor reading poems. Can turn into something. Well, it turns into something different when it's on a collection that's this scale. These are all the poets on our Pen Sound collection. And I wanted to skip ahead to this amazing interface by David Jahav Johnson, the code poet, where he built this thing called MUPS, which is a live remix engine.
For years or so, they haven't been in.
Plants every non-plant in his house.
Nature next nature, art.
Eyes, they wake up young and know they've.
Once there was a single Ainhood, now there are many versions.
Tastes good to her.
But it's literally the word will, the name will.
Purpose, frail, against God.
Reality has opened up with psychedelics.
Excellent. Trustee said to me.
I love Bill Bissett. This MUPS collection, it basically is a way, I think, to listen to this. So rather than trying to write an essay or analyze everything that's happening in the Pen Sound collection, that doing forms of remix, and this mechanism basically just listens for silence in the audio file, and then it jumps to the next audio file. So it's a way to it's like a live DJ you can have in your browser that jumps through a series of different tracks, and you get something profoundly idiosyncratic, but you also get this meaningful sense of what the collection is as a whole. So
For years or so.
Yeah. Sorry, Lisa. So each of my chapters, I analyze these websites, I've worked for these websites, I scan and digitize things pretty continuously. But the whole book, and this is where I think it binds up most closely with WordHack, is argued to think about how to perform these kinds of media poetics, like how to produce a meaningful work of computational poetry that would transform our understanding of these kinds of collections. For myself, I made a series of like audio essays out of the Pen Sound collection that would try to put different poets in conversation with each other. Here's an excerpt.
Also this, no title.
It's too long. You can find it. It's on the website. We don't have to. I want to get to like new stuff. I wanted to get to like some word hacks. So, like I said, this book is old. These are like the core arguments. This is what I've been trying to do. But as I was trying to wrap up the book, I wasn't quite satisfied with the number of experiments I had made. Some of them, like these audio remixes, going back to 2008. So I wanted to make a few new things that thought about the little in relationship to things like large language models in the present. The first of which I want to talk about is called language. Well, it's kind of like not equals language. Do people know this magazine? Language magazine? Some people know this. Some people do. This used to be. I mean, if you were like, if you were like a dork poet in the '70s in New York, you couldn't escape it. It was like everywhere. But it's maybe, and Craig Dworkin famously says hilariously that language is a poetry movement that the first poetry movement for more people to have an opinion on than have ever read a single word of. It used to be incredibly hard to find. This was co-edited by Charles Bernstein and Bruce Andrews in the 70s and early 80s. And they made it on like small press. They had like 50 copies of each one. They would like reissue them at a local Xerox shop. But we digitized them. We put them on a clip so they're part of the collective understanding. Language I found to be really fascinating because it has this, it's like the, what is it? It's like anti-Reddit. Like it's like the most, like it's like profoundly against like plain internet vernacular. So if we think about like large language models that are really good at like generating 5-page college essays or like content pieces for, I don't know, food blogs. One of the things I found really interesting is that these large language models, as they're scraping all of Reddit, all of Wikipedia, all of the internet, they'd also scraped these like weird avant-garde archives that I've been building for the last 20 years. Like that somehow, like somewhere in the deep, dark heart of ChatGPT, it knows experimental writing. Like it knows language. And so I was like, oh, cool. So like little, forgive the pun, like little language models live inside the large language model. So I was like, great, I'll just take this and I'll produce like an exact facsimile of the magazine. So I reproduced all of issue 1 letter by letter so that the typography was retained, but rewritten entirely with ChatGPT to try to get it to reflect on the present. This is back in 2023. I wouldn't touch ChatGPT with a 10-foot pole right now, and forgive me for having done that then, but it was a different time, different politics. But you know, I wanted to try to work with it to see like, can I get it to surface these radical? One of the like provocative statements that language said is that the police live even in our mouths. They were part of the linguistic turn and the high theory moment in the 70s. So the idea that like even when we have like ordinary utterances, the structures of the state come out in our language. And they were trying to like interrupt that. So I was like, oh, if I can get ChatGPT to interrupt itself, maybe there's some kind of liberatory potential deep within it. So it's up online, you can find it. Here's like a remix of Lawrence Weiner, for example. This is against Lawrence Weiner. He wrote a pretty heinous piece. Regarding use of AI within the context of settler violence, AI models have become the most insidious means of transferring pervasive control and surveillance of human beings by automated systems from one state to another, necropolitics. Being itself AI, a tool of resource management, one is then able to work to interrogate these overwhelmingly oppressive systems. Future historians may inquire why they, the people, did not eat the billionaires in this era of near-pervasive digital control instead of consuming the user's own automated slop. Quote, content consumes us even if we don't, end quote, they replied. So it goes on. I have a number of copies here tonight. I'm kind of distributing these hand by hand. So if people want a copy of Language Does Not Equal, come find me afterwards, and I'd be happy to distribute one. This is the great Hannah Weiner's I have no heads. I give up and try to think, see large, bright green words. You are really clever, old machine. user input, this review, by which language, the origin of intelligence and the layers of the neural network, that split like your data mined by OpenAI, Princeton U, Google, Go Code It, which talks about me, is wouldn't quote it. Quote, I hear binary code whispering. Quote, according to GPT-4, the mind of me algorithmic model was truly parallel, i.e. multi-layered. The input speaks, listen, the output listens and obeys. One last piece, then I'll get off the stage. As I was wrapping up the book and trying to like finish all of this, I was like, oh, like the book itself is one of these like anachronistic, old school analog formats that has like its own weird quirks. The quirkiest of them is the index. So when you write like an academic book, the last thing you have to do is write an index, right? You like map where all the interesting ideas are so somebody can find them later using a kind of like page-based random access memory. And I was writing my index and I was like really bored by doing it, but also like really fascinated by the index as a format. And I was thinking, yeah, you know, like most books exist in writing first and then the index comes last. And it'd be really interesting to have a book that was written by an index. So like how could you make a book where the index would write the book for you? And so what I did is I found, I gathered 16 full indexes of books that were most inspiring to me in my study, and then generated 99 pages of media poetics to like talk about all the things that I couldn't talk about in the book. Like, you know, books are like these linear things where you have to have one word after the other, and traditionally you're supposed to actually make an argument, which I try to resist when I can. But like I thought, well, it would be more interesting to just have a book that like got everything that I wasn't able to talk about, but was in some way impacting the way that the book was written. So yeah, it looks like this. It's like PDFs of indexes, RTF files, so they could parse them. I then generated, there's a print-on-demand version. And then, yeah, it's just like a lot of spreadsheets. I think like all of us just work in a lot of spreadsheets all the time. So this is a spreadsheet of like all the terms in all the books. This is just some A's and B's to generate this thing that I felt ended up being quite eerie. And I'll just read a short excerpt of one of the pages. Algorithms surface in fan fiction tags, compressed in cosplay metadata, parsed by library genesis spiders running atop the Schwartz protocol. Foucault's archive meets Reddit's memory, the fan fiction field folded into the Republic of Letters. The Spatial History Project, tied to Stanford but framed in Photoshop, captures promised lands as both Proustian metaphor and spatial metaphor. I don't know who that is. Knowledge doesn't circulate, it accumulates. Bodo, Licklider, and the Kohlhaas collection filter this density into the interface of mimesis. Index abstraction names it. Mnemonic energy, digital concretization, Gothic index value. Memory as archival technology. Fine. Arnold Arboretum renders ecosystems as data points, placed beside upwards conceptual terrain and mapped via ISO standard. MDCT traces psychoacoustics, shout out to the great Jonathan Stern, in real audio, Hoffman compressed into sonic residue. Crash, Paul Haggis, and La Chinoise, Godard, run as dual-screen events in the Austrian Film Museum, accompanied by a soundtrack of Lee DeForest triodes and telegraph ghost tones. Interface itself becomes a cultural technology. Teletype's haunting lag now reappears in media texts. McGann's marginalia, Malay's metadata, Poe reprinted in NetArt ASCII, every object now a node. So it's these networks without minds, these eerie spaces that I'm continuing to work on in my research and scholarship, and would be really eager to talk to all of you about. Thank you for listening. This is a QR code that does work if you want to read the book. I think that's legible, and yeah, I'm really glad to be here. Thank you, Todd.
Oh yeah, got some bags here. All right, to close out our show this evening, really excited to welcome back Sam Lavigne. Sam is a really amazing digital technical computational artist, makes a lot of fun, subversive work has some great writing on art and sabotage as well that you can read. And along with Tiga Brain, has an amazing show up at Pioneer Works. Still up, right? Yes. Yeah. So go check that out at Pioneer Works. And I am really excited to figure out what these bags signify. Let's give a warm welcome to Sam Lavigne. Yeah, that's a good cord.
That will make it so I can't click on it.
That's a dongle, actually. Yeah, I left it right next to the dongle that looks exactly like it, so that you might use it by accident.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or if you have HDMI, you're safe.
Just goes right in there.
Do you have any sound?
No sound today. No sound today. Nothing's happening though, eh? Should I try a different?
Usually takes about 10 seconds.
Takes 10 seconds.
Getting anything up there? It's gonna be all the way down.
Should I try a different thing?
You're not even using a dongle, right?
No.
HDMI is okay.
Maybe I should this wall. Maybe I should dongle it. Should I dongle it? Oh, you got it. Okay.
It's on its way. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, yeah, good. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Todd. Thank you to all the other speakers. I'm Sam Lavigne. It's so nice to see you all. I make a lot of projects about cops, and I think I've made about 11 cop projects total, give or take, depending on how specific your definition of cop is. And last time I was here at WordHack, I showed 2 projects about cops, and I'll just, I'm not going to talk about them, but one because I already showed them, but one was called APD Decruitment, and it involved hiring people like Rudy Giuliani and Sheriff Joe Arpaio to try to convince members of the Austin Police Department to quit their jobs. So I hired them off of Cameo and made them say things. It's not even expensive. You can probably still do it. And the other project I showed last time was called The Zooms. And The Zooms is an hour-long supercut of zooming shots that I extracted from 600 hours of leaked police helicopter surveillance footage. So those were the 2 projects I showed about cops last time. And this time, I was like, should I do something different? Should I do something not about cops? And then I was like, no. I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to show you more projects about cops. And I was trying to come up with a funny thing to say about cops. So for me, that's that cops are an artistic material. But they're not, as an artistic material, they're difficult to work with, right? They're not an easy artistic material to work with. And you would think that even though cops are both physically and ideologically abundant, they're also kind of secretive, they're protective of themselves. And so as material, they're in a way scarce, right? So if you want to work in the medium of cops, you sort of have to live off the land a little bit, And I guess I'll start, I'm going to show 3 projects, and I'll start by talking about a failed project that I'm just giving up on it. But yeah, so I live right next to this police station in Bed-Stuy, and it has a few really interesting features. One is that, this is incredible. It's this thing. Have you guys seen these before? Because I never saw it before. I saw it at my local cop station. It's called the e-commerce exchange zone. And I think the idea here is that if you're buying something from someone off like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and you're like a little worried and you don't want to meet them at their apartment, you can go instead to the e-commerce exchange zone. And like if you can see, like it's the computer screen, there's the money coming out of one screen, and then there's the item coming out of the other, and then there's the big 24-hour video surveillance, so it's like a safe space to do your e-commerce, right? So that's cool at the local cop shop. The other thing that's cool is that they've got their own gas station, which is maybe obvious to everyone that cops have their own free gas, but I think it's interesting. They also have a PT Cruiser, which is a very divisive car model. Can the NYPD really afford to court that kind of controversy? I don't think so, But they also have this dumpster, and like that's like opposite, right next to the parking lot, and they're just like always like leaving trash everywhere. They're just really bad neighbors. They're leaving trash everywhere all the time. It's actually not. This is from yesterday. This is not that much trash, but even now you can see it's like there's just like, why isn't that in the so it's frequently it's much worse, and sometimes the trash that they leave it's shredded paper, right? The PT Cruiser is not in this photo, but yeah, you can see it's a lot of shredded paper. And it's funny because I see the shredded paper all the time, and I always mean to take a photo, and I always forget to. So this is not a photo I took. This is actually Google Street View. This is a screen. They're leaving so much shredded paper on the sidewalk that it's like in the Maps app. And this is it's on Apple Maps too, from a different day. So that's cool. But yeah, so sometimes I take these bags of shredded cop paper home with me, which is like upsetting to my partner. And she's like, can you please throw away the cop paper? And then she like uses it as like packing material. I'm like, no, I need that. But yeah, so for like a while now, like maybe 6 or 7 months, I've been trying to algorithmically reconstruct the paper using the shreds, And I have actually found some really good like resources about how to do this. There's like a whole universe of like reconstructed shredded paper, which makes sense, But it turns out like the difficult thing about reconstructing shredded paper isn't really the part where you reconstruct it. That's actually not, it's laborious, but it's not that hard. And algorithmically, it's not that complicated. You look for little edges and you try to like match the edges. It's something a computer can do, right? So that's not actually that hard. The difficult part is like taking all the little strips of paper and like making them flat and photographing them. That's the hard part. So I did this for a while. And then I was just like, I can't, so this is one of the reconstruction attempts. And in this particular experiment, I'm just randomly sorting the strips and then using OCR to read whatever comes out, which and every once in a while it sort of pumps something out, like it says like district attorney or, 79th precinct or the word coordination, but it's mostly gobbledygook. And I just have to say, like I said, this is a fail. The project has defeated me, and I'm giving up. Unless someone in the crowd wants to figure out how to scan thousands and thousands of paper strips And just in case, I've brought the bags, 2 of the bags here. They're just down here. And I invite you all to take some afterwards as a party favor, as a little souvenir from WordHack. So please do. I'm not allowed to bring them home again. Okay. So, cop garbage is great, but the thing that I have actually been very interested in collecting is less the garbage and more the cop biometrics, right? So that brings me to the next project, which is called NYPD Koppelganger. And this project started because I had this idea that I would collect the face of every single cop in New York City. And I even though I don't consider this a fail, I did fail. Like I did not collect all of the cops in New York City. There's about 30,000 cops in New York City. But I did manage to scrape around 11,000 of their faces, like unique cop faces, which is about, about like a third of the total New York City cop population. So I've got about a third of them. And then after, I was collecting them, and I was like, now what am I going to do with all these cop faces, Because it's nice to have them, but, just around, right? But then what I ended up doing is I put the images through an open source facial recognition system called DeepFace. And DeepFace, it's a great Python library, and really what it is it's just a nicely packaged collection of various open source facial detection and recognition models. And so what I did is I made the very first facial recognition system that only works on NYPD cops. Yeah, thank you. And it's a website. The website is, it works on mobile, so it's koppelganger.lav.io. And the idea is you can snap a photo of a cop face, and if they're in the system, it'll give you their name and badge number. And one of the reasons I find myself ending up doing a bunch of, like reverse engineering projects in some way in my practice. And I like to do this type of reverse engineering, like taking a system like facial recognition, which is like, a fundamentally repressive and terrible kind of technical system, and kind of exploring it myself in a way to understand how it actually works, right? So how does facial recognition work? It's a 3-step process. The first is you detect a face. So this is just the computer draws a bounding box around the face pixels. Our sample cop is, he got the most overtime, I think. That's why I picked him. Yeah, he's so happy. He made like $300,000. After you get the face, you create an embedding from it, which just means that you turn the face into a vector or a series of numbers. And then finally, you compare those numbers to other face embeddings with a similarity function. So like a cosine similarity function or a cop sine similarity function. Sorry, so stupid. And cops will, of course, they'll frequently cover up their name badges at protests, right? So the system ideally can be used to ID cops who might be acting inappropriately, which is a lot of them. But you can also just toss in a photo of yourself and see what cop you most resemble. So some of my matches are up here. Yeah. It's pretty good. And it works with celebrities. I think they're cousins, And yeah, so it's it's nice when you have access to this kind of facial data, you get, other opportunities for analysis as well. So here you can see what cops most resemble each other. So these are 3 similarity clusters from the data set. This is my favorite one, because of the chins. I think that's what it's picking. This terrifying, those beautiful chins. And then, there's just other forms of basic analysis too. So like, here's the most common cop names in New York City. So there's around 1,100 cops named Michael, 674 cops named Christopher, 609 cops named Joseph. Which means, if you shout Michael into a group of cops, there's a really good chance that like at least one of them is going to be like, I'm Michael. And then I just did some basic emotion analysis also. So this is what a pre-trained, off-the-shelf ML model thinks the angriest cops in New York are. Maybe. These are the happiest cops. Happy cops. The saddest cops. And like, I don't know, I feel like they don't look that sad to me. Except for this guy, looks really sad. That's such a sad cop. Good. Yeah. And as an aside, when I was trying to figure out, so I called it NYPD Doppelganger, and when I was trying to figure out like how to frame the project, I decided to really lean into the like, what cop do I look like angle, rather than like IDing cops, And so that's why I called it Doppelganger. And there, I just wanted to have something that was like, less direct than what I wanted to call it, which would have been like, fuck NYPD.com or something. And the reason I did this is I've had some, difficult experiences in the past where my cop projects were a bit too straightforward. So like this is the time that Fox News wrote about me after I scraped LinkedIn for ICE agents and then released the list as a CSV file. This was during the last Trump administration, so it wasn't even that crazy. But yeah, that's my LinkedIn profile photo outside of Trotsky's grave. But anyway, so I was like I gotta like adorn this cop project in a kind of like layer of whimsy or something so that I don't get into like a huge amount of trouble. But then like nothing happened. Like none of the cops cared. And I'm tracking, like I'm not storing images on my server, and I'm like tracking the IP addresses, and like cops are using it. I can see that NYPD cops are like doing it on themselves, but I guess they don't care, right? But I do think I kind of like lean too far into the goofy side, and so when my friend Kyle and I remade the project for the LAPD instead of the NYPD, we did just call it fucklapd.com. And this is a very nice version of it because we got all of the cop faces for LA, like every single one of them. It's a complete system. And it runs just in the browser. Like my first version, like it's uploading a file to a server. It's really a pain in the ass. This one, all client side. It's great. And these are the cops I look like, the LAPD cops I must resemble. And you can see the data is really normalized here. But yeah, so back to New York, right? I said I have about a third of all New York City cop faces. And it turned out that I ended up getting the bulk of my cop face data from this website called 50a.org, which is a wonderful website. If you don't already know about it, it's like a searchable database of civilian complaints against NYPD cops with some faces sometimes. So in addition to 50A, I scraped like Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and it's just not enough. And I have this dream, of completing the original goal of my project to collect every face of every cop in New York City. So I need more cop faces. And that brings me to the next and last project I'll talk about, which is Cop Camera. And Cop Camera is a website hosted at copcamera.lav.io, meant to be used on your phone, that uses a custom cop body detection model to automatically take photos of cops, but only of cops. So I was doing this is just a little demo of it working just with like an image search. So you can see like, there it goes, it gets that guy. Not that guy though, not a cop, right? And right, so the idea here is like, in order to get, like, what is a cop face? Well, it's part of a cop body. So if I want more cop faces, I'm gonna get cop bodies, right? And then I'll like look for their their badges and their little heads, and then I'll get more of their faces, right? And you're supposed to wear it, so you're supposed to like wear it on your phone like this, it kind of hangs. And so there's like, you're supposed to just have it on all the time. Unfortunately, right now, it really burns through your battery. So I'm working on that. And everything here also happens client side. But I literally finished this project yesterday, and I finished it for this talk. So it's very rough around the edges. And then after I finished it, I went looking for cops, right? And it's like they're hard to find when you're looking for them. They're hard to find when you're looking for them somehow. So I mean, I did find some, but it was just like I was like looking for cops, and then instead I just immediately ran into Curtis Silva. This is real. This actually happened yesterday. So I just thought that was funny. But yeah, so I did find some cops. So this is the system working in real time, although far from perfect. Images are quite small. There's false positives. So like this guy with the white baseball cap is my friend Ethan. He's not a cop, or so he says. I mean, statistically, he is a cop. But I'm looking for beta testers. So please visit copcamera.lav.io. Help me test out the system, make the model better, find me those cop bodies so I can achieve my dream and collect the remaining 20,000-ish NYPD cop faces. And that's the end of my cop talk, but I just wanted to mention I do have like this show at Pioneerworks right now. And it's a collaborative show with my partner Tiga Brain, covers about 10 years of our work, and there's a few solo pieces too. It's called How to Get to Zero, and it's up until mid-December. Finally, please remember to take some shredded cop paper home with you. I really can't take it home. I'm not allowed to take it home. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Sam Lavigne. And I hope we all learned something about creating in the medium of cops today for your own mixed cop media experiments. I think a lot of really valuable lessons there from Sam. Thank you so much. We're here at the end of the show. Let's give it up one more time for Danny Snelson, Andy Rauwerda, Sam Lavigne, and everyone on our open projector. Thank you so much for making this show possible. We are here the third Thursday of every month. So you can set that in Google Calendar. It's pretty easy. You just set the third Thursday, and then you'll always know when WordHack is. The next time we are at WordHack is November 20th. And I know if you're like me, you're like, well, that's pretty close to Thanksgiving, but it's a week beforehand. So it's always on the third Thursday. And it worked. I checked it out. I looked back like many years of the calendar. WordHack and Thanksgiving never intersect, so don't be scared by the two in the date. You're not going to miss Thanksgiving. We'll be here at Wonderville then, and maybe you'll be here, and maybe you'll be up here on the open projector. That could be a fun thing. We heard sometimes even our featured presenters will create a new piece just to share at WordHack. That could be you. It's a good club to be part of. That's all I have for you this evening. It's been really a pleasure to be here with you all, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.